All right, so we've got one of the Grand Market Grand Prix matches between Hablador and Kheldar. I think this is the last match of their individual group, and will determine who makes it to the next stage. Looking at the standings, it looks like from their group of four, Silly Potter's already number one. Lemon Spawn's already number four. These two duking it out for second and third. If they split 2-2, then El Hablador will have the higher win record. But if Kheldar wins 3-1 or 4-0, then they'll move on. Alright, so what do we got in this first kingdom? So it looks like the big limitation is that it's single buy and single gain for that matter. And with the exception that you can gain multiple coppers off of Banquet. So, not a major exception. Otherwise there's like a lot of nice looking stuff like Menagerie, Overlord, City Quarter, or whatever. But the serious lack of gains might make it a little bit hard to build. The one other thing that stands out to me is that there is a source of victory points here, Temple, that means like your turn can do better than I pointed out Banquet. I wouldn't overlook that. Sorry. Yeah. Please, I am nothing if not comprehensive. If you want to join, you can. The one other thing that jumps out to me is Temple, because in terms of like what your deck can do at the end of the turn, scoring wise, you're otherwise limited here to just one province per turn buying it. But the other thing you could do is potentially gain points off of Temple. So you could score like 7 points per turn if you played a temple and then bought province, for example, or 8 if you played 2 temples. That's still kind of limited by the lack of gains, because temple has to trash something for any of those points, and so if you're gain limited, you might not have much to trash. But maybe there's some conceivable scenario where in the end game where you like Banquet for something just to get coppers to feed to your temple for a few extra points. I don't know.
Yeah, this sure looks like the kind of board where you want to play it fancy, but it just loses to a straightforward deck.
Yeah. Now that being said, what even is a straightforward deck exactly?
I would assume you want some combination of like Menagerie, maybe a couple Oasis, and some merchant ships to hit province.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's still good trashing with Temple, and I think it's worth trashing. And then I think...
the question is, do you want to trash with Temple or Overlord as Temple? And I think the answer is probably Overlord as Temple.
That does give you more flexibility later on.
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's just what Seprix named it.
Yeah, the classic merchant doesn't have plus buy, and Worf does.
Yeah.
Which does not strike me as the way I want to play this game.
I think Fool's Gold seems bad to me on account of not jiving very well with Menagerie, because you need Fool's Golds in large quantities, and then you can't activate Menagerie if you have 2 Fool's Golds in hand.
Okay, they're both with Fool's Golds, which I don't think is... Well, hold on. Who has the temple?
Good question.
Hablador?
Hablador.
Certainly trying to play Fool's Gold with no trashing seems like a pretty rough go of it.
That just seems weird to me. Like, why would you not trash? If your goal is to line up a bunch of Fool's Golds, then, yeah, getting coppers and states out of the deck seems great.
Alright, so we're going with the classic Fool's Gold rush by turn 7 here.
Yeah, we really want the Fool's Golds, it seems.
I'm not sold on the Fool's Golds.
Like,
but if you're playing, at least have a temple.
In a single buy kingdom like this, you only need to have like 8 money or so. And with Menagerie, I think the way you want to do that is just with like a set of unique cards, like 1 silver, 1 gold, a merchant ship, an Oasis or something, for example. Yeah, 2 merchant ships works as well.
So one of the things about Fool's Gold is it's really efficient economy, but only if you have like the buys, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're buying the Fool's Golds for 5 or 6 or something, then it kind of defeats the point.
Yeah. like the next one of Fool's Gold is you can add like 2 or 3 of them on for the same price as a gold. It just costs more buys.
Mm-hmm.
Then they produce a bunch more economy. But if you're spending 6 on a Fool's Gold, it's not substantially better than spending 6 on like a gold, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's all spending 6 on a gold.
Yeah, I would think you probably want a few oases for when you reach the greening stage, being able to discard province. But like, supposing you kept 1 copper, you had 2 oases, merchant ship, and a gold, for example. That's 8 right there. Some combination of cards like that, plus a few menageries, and I think you're good to go.
Yeah, that's the deck I was envisioning here. Just some menagerie, little oasis for consistency, some temple for trashing, some various treasures to hit 8, and then province fairly regularly.
And then I think that deck has a little bit more flexibility to potentially get more temple points in the end game. Because if you have a well-running deck, you can more reliably draw and play your temple. Maybe banquet for a temple or something when there's like 3 points on it.
Yeah, on single game boards like this, often a few extra like random VP chips or random extra points here and there is substantial. Because if you're just trading back provinces, having an extra 3 points is like basically a free duchy in the end game, which helps a lot for the end game stage of play.
Yeah, and a free duchy is like a free turn if you're buying cards one at a time.
Yeah, there is no autoplay for Don't React, right? Or is there? On Fool's Gold?
There is not. That actually does seem like a really nice autoplay that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it feels like that should exist.
I'll have to put that on my list of autoplay features I complain about not existing whenever that topic comes up.
One of the other issues with the Fool's Gold deck here is, especially since the trashing is not that strong, like there's some trashing with Temple, but it's not amazing, is just like, once you start greening, the Fool's Gold deck doesn't hold green cards very well at all. It's going to fall apart, because you can't line up, because you need to line up like 3 Fool's Golds basically to hit a province, right?
Yeah.
And that gets harder and harder to do the more provinces you add.
Yeah, because did they split them 5-5? I'm assuming.
I think so. They traded back and forth for like 5 turns, so I think it's 5-5.
Seems likely. Yeah. So that means you gotta find 3 of your 5 Fool's Golds in a given turn to province.
I mean, I think there's probably a deck here with just Fool's Golds, a bit of thinning, and some Crossroads, because then the Crossroads deal with the green. But you still want some copper thinning, because copper is like deadly in this deck.
Yeah.
But there's probably a deck there that's somewhat functional. You see a +1 action per action in your hand, in addition to its current rules of +1 card per victory card. Huh.
That seems really strong.
Yeah, well, I think the current iteration is probably balanced better than that. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It'd be really awkward to draw like Crossroads and a bunch of green cards, but no other actions in that case.
Well, that's true.
Because then it's just drawing a bunch of stuff dead, right? Alright, I have no sense of who's ahead in this game.
So I just noticed that 7 Crossroads have been bought. That's a lot.
I mean, like I said, Crossroads and Fool's Gold have some synergy, but like you really want to deal with the copper. The copper just killing these decks.
I don't know what the right proportion is, but I have this suspicion that at some point adding more Crossroads is not actually helping you draw, because then your Crossroads are just finding other Crossroads and not victory cards.
This is true. Certainly true.
It'd be like adding like 8 Shepherds to deal with like 4 green cards.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So like these 2 Crossroads up here for El Hablador. Is the H silent or not?
That's a good question. Upon further reflection, maybe it is. The H tends to be silent in Spanish, right? El Hablador.
Probably Hablador.
I mean, I'm even making the presumption they're Spanish. Maybe that's just their English surname, like Louis Hablador.
possibly. I think it's a traditional Irish name, I think.
Yeah.
It is the Spanish word for talkative. So
they haven't done much talking in the chat.
Maybe it's one of those like ironic nicknames.
It is surprising to me that they've only trashed one estate despite opening with Temple.
I don't know. I haven't been following 100% along, so I don't know if there's an opportunity that they passed up or not. Temple sometimes does have the awkward issue of like not finding estates sometimes, and then it's just really, really terrible.
Yeah, turn 18 though, I do find that surprising.
There's a chance to trash estate here, but you probably don't take it actually because you want to buy a duchy. Also, the 1 point might be significant at this point in the game.
Well, trashing the estate doesn't actually lose you a point.
Well, it does if you're trashing just the estate. You're right. Oh yeah, then trash the estate. Okay. Unless you really want it for that crossroads draw.
Well, I guess if we have 25 crossroads on our deck, then maybe the estate's a draw card at this point.
It could be. Like, obviously we just province there, and we see if anybody else provinces this game.
Menagerie still does that, DZ. He does have Way of the Chameleon in the Kingdom.
This does not quite win, but it does score some points.
You said not quite win, as if they were close. Don't they have like 3 money?
You know...
I guess I agree. He doesn't quite win.
Doesn't quite win. What I said was true. All right, don't nitpick my word choice there. Yeah, so we're at the stage of the game where fool's golds are typically just fancy coppers. Although that's almost there.
The fact that we're going into turn 22 makes me pretty confident this fool's gold thing was not the correct thing.
Well, there's always the issue of games like this where uncontested they're really good, but I'm not saying this perfect example, but like there are kinds of games where uncontested a certain strategy can be like really good, but contested it's terrible. So like there are times when like you just have to play a terrible game and contest the pile, and you're sad about it. Yeah. I don't think that's the case here. Like I think if my opponent got 10 fool's golds, I wouldn't like care that much. But
yeah, that's still 10 turns worth of buys to get 10 fool's golds, which is a long time to set up.
Well, I guess it'd be 10 fool's golds, right? It could be like 7 or 8 or 9, or like 7 or 8 or something. But like that sometimes happens, but that's not the case here, I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Kheldar needs a province to win. And that's it. I guess you need to get Temple here. That's worth a point, right?
Yep. And now El Hablador just needs to hit 5, which they do. Oh, they hit 8. Ooh, buying the province. The duchy would have been the more stylish ending there.
Duchy would have been more stylish, you're correct. We should do a tournament where you don't win by winning, you win by being stylish. I think that'd be a good idea.
With a panel of judges.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it'll be like the Olympics this summer. Everyone holds up their card with the number on it.
It'll also be like the Olympics on account of being online.
I think they're trying to do the Olympics this summer, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Hopefully. You don't need to wait, Kheldar. It's already happened.
Well, Kheldar doesn't know though. Kheldar is waiting for the big reveal.
Yeah, what they can't wait is to see the roasting that's already occurred in the comments.
There are a lot of options for opening here. Like a lot of options.
Yeah. You could open double Herbalist. You could transport the Herbalist twice to top deck it.
I'm thinking just Bounty Hunter Hermit is okay. Like that's usually a pretty strong open.
I'm inclined to say transport Captain twice. Actually, you're right, but there's so many things I have to think about this.
Transport Captain is also very strong.
Yeah. Or a new answer. Hermit Transport Captain. I'm pretty sold on this one. So if you hit 3 turn 3, then you can top deck a Captain turn 4, still have a Hermit in the shuffle, and then also play the Captain.
Well, it's even better if you hit like Hermit with 3 coins, because then you can transport and gain a madman.
Wait, so Steph is saying transport captain by bounty hunter. I think the
They're
hermit's
just
better because the hermit's the card I want to like genuinely have a copy of. I'm happy to play the
um
captain as bounty hunter and play the hermit as hermit rather than play the captain as hermit and the bounty hunter as bounty hunter.
Bounty is just a little bit better at spiking price points though than Hermit. Well, at least for one shuffle. Then in two shuffles you get a madman and then
Well, my goal is to use the captain for bounty hunter, right? If you transport captain turn 2 and turn 3, then you'll have a bounty hunter turn 4 by virtue of captain.
yeah, like the opening here is just so unclear to me.
I'm increasingly sold on this hermit captain line. Because the other advantage of Hermit here is like it's really good with transport. I mean, Hermit's really good without transport, but Hermit's really, really good with transport because you can still buy functionally something on your turn, and transport's not gonna prevent you from getting the Madman off your Hermit.
Yeah, Hermit loves events. I mean, Hermit just is really good in general, but with events it's even better often.
Kheldar opened with Transmogrify. Normally a pretty good opening, but I feel like that's just a lot weaker than the other things available here.
Yeah, if there wasn't like transport or bounty hunter, maybe you open like Teamlog Hermit, but I think the other options are just better.
There's this like initial allure of Transmogrify Fortress, which is also normally a pretty strong interaction. You just like print free 5s at the start of your turn. But the 5s actually aren't very good here.
You don't want that many 5s. I mean, the nice thing with Transmog Fortress is it gets you a bunch of transmogs, so you can just stockpile those and do like, I don't know.
Yeah, like I expect it to happen at some point. I would think that I would end up doing Transmogrify Fortress, but it's not something that I'm in a rush to do.
You can gain golds off soothsayers and turn them into captains. I don't know if that sounds any good. Is captain a good card?
I've heard that it is. I've heard that it's a very good card, in fact.
Yeah, this is my inclination, is that captain's good.
Word on the street is captain is excellent.
Like on this board, captain plays Fortress, Bounty Hunter, Slay, Hermit. I said it twice tonight. Fortress, you need it.
You missed out on the key one, which is Herbalist.
I mean, sometimes you need a plus buy.
Yeah. I mean, Captain playing Herbalist twice is almost as good as Merchant Ship with plus buy, getting hit by a Bridge Troll attack.
Soothe is probably not the card on this board. It's not usually that strong anyway.
Yeah. I wish I didn't see that. I would much rather not have seen a Soothsayer get bought.
But I think it's even worse. Like I think Hermit counters it nicely also. Just because you draw me a card and like Hermit traps the curse my discard. Great.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for the free card.
Yeah. Soothsayer seems horrible to me. I wouldn't even consider buying it.
The other thing with Soothsayer is it doesn't get golds, but like they want golds here.
It's like the attack ranges from minimally significant to actively friendly. Like you draw them a card, and then there's a decent chance they just trash that curse before it ever gets into their shuffle, because Hermit can trash from the discard.
Hablador just decided to not transport there, to do nothing instead of transport, which I'm gonna guess can't be correct.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant underplay. They do like a free transport of a captain sounds amazing. Maybe they didn't realize that Hermit won't be or will still be activated even if you transport something, because it doesn't count as buying a card.
Yeah, that's something that's not obvious unless you're familiar with the rules. But it does say
now. Perhaps my expectations are too high, but to qualify for this tournament, you gotta be like the top 32 of people who entered. I would assume a basic understanding of the rules by this point. I feel like a Hermit plus landscapes is like a pretty simple one there.
Well, to be fair, I sometimes I don't know the rules to this game.
There's more complicated ones where I don't fault them for not noticing a weird thing. I feel like this one's just a pretty significant misplay.
I think if you've played with Hermit events before, like you probably probably exists.
Oh, yeah. To answer, I'm sorry, I forgot how to pronounce it. Pucha's question. The kingdoms are just standard. So random kingdom with ban lists and dislike lists respected.
Mm,
Speaking of ban lists, what have they banned?
great question.
One
Let's
of them
judge.
hates gamble for some reason, but otherwise it seems like a reasonable list of things to ban.
To answer DZ's question about why I'm so bad at Dominion rules, I have a terrible memory. I forget everything all the time. I just I have to like refigure out how cards work constantly.
Are you sure that you forget everything all the time?
Um, Dang it, did I forget that?
Yeah, I don't know, it kind of sounded like a memory that you were very confident of there.
No, I like a lot of times I'm playing a game. I'm like, how does this work? And I have to like puzzle out how it actually works. The good thing about Dominion is the card rules are very precise, and so you can actually figure out how they work by reading cards. But sometimes I'm somewhat illiterate, so that's a problem. I forget how to read.
There are a few cards where I feel like hyper literal precision has been traded off for like simplicity of wording. Like Fleet is the one that always comes to my mind, where it's just like after the game's over, take another turn. Which I think read literally would imply that like that turn doesn't do anything. Like, oh, the game's already finished, and you're just taking like a bonus turn afterwards for no consequence.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you can puzzle that one out though.
yeah, like
What it
I
like
think the like intuitive meaning is pretty clear. Um, but I feel like there is like a little bit of flexibility in terms of whether a card should be read like extremely literally versus like outcome ones with the obvious meaning. Like Masquerade not being a gain, for example, is one where you read it more literally.
yeah, Fleet's just I think Fleet is really hard to get a good wording on.
Yeah,
Without any kind of like conciseness to it.
yeah, and I definitely see the value in concision. I'm not saying it's like a bad idea to word Fleet that way. I do just find it funny.
Well, Fleet says after the game is over, right?
Yeah, it's like after the game ends, take another turn, something to that effect. Like I would say like after the game would have ended or something to that effect. But like Fleet never clarifies like the game hasn't actually like finished when you take the Fleet turn. And so theoretically, like, oh, I already won. Now we're just taking like a bonus lap. I'm taking my victory lap, and
It's like the current donate problem, right? Like you end the game, you buy a donate, you don't
yeah,
actually get to donate because the game's over, right?
yeah, exactly. Like Fleet instructs me to like play an extra turn for no reason, but the game's already over, so it doesn't affect the score.
Listen, we're trying to be very pedantic here.
Yeah. No, I'm saying Fleet's not being pedantic enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you know what maybe it is? Maybe because two things happen at the same time, right? The game ends and you count your score, and you play your Fleet turn, so you choose which happens first.
I would say the confusion there is if the game ends as an event, Fleet's a project.
Anyway, let's all right. Let's see.
I saw the Soothsayer buy. I kind of tuned out. I was like, whatever. This game sucks.
No one should allow me and Chainnails to commentate a match. Like
Yeah.
this is not. This is a combination that is cursed.
I will say I could totally theoretically see a Soothsayer coming up at some point. Like once you've got deck control, if nothing else, it at least gains you some golds, which is a pretty fast way to add payload. Like that could be a thing you could do. Turn 3 is just like way too early for that.
There's so the thing about gold gainers like Soothsayer or Bandit or things like this is typically you don't gain them until you're already drawn deck, right?
Yeah.
Draw deck, and you add the payload. Because the gold just makes it harder to spin down and get deck control in the interim. So, like, they're fine to gain golds, just do it later, not early.
Yeah, agreed. Is there a way to activate Tunnel here?
No.
I'm trying to find one and I can't.
There's not.
Wait, no, you can. You buy tunnels, you exile tunnels with Bounty Hunter, and then you buy a new tunnel, and then when you discard the tunnel from exile, you can get the golds.
I don't think that seems a lot less efficient than just Soothsayer, but you know what? Go for it.
your hermits can gain the tunnels, and then you're getting 2 victory points off of that already. So why not just exile them and get a few golds off of it?
So this board, I think, wants Slays. Slays like the only draw here, right?
Certainly we want to play Slays. Have they been using Captainess Slay?
No, I don't think
never.
Slay.
Are we just playing with no draw?
Like I want like Captainess Slay is probably more efficient than Slay is Slay. And I think the piles, because sometimes when you buy too many captains and like there's a key pile and it runs out, then the captain is really sad. But I don't think your key piles are running out, so it's not really a problem here.
I think there's a good case for playing Slay as Slay, because Hermit can gain Slays, and then you could be devoting your captains to the Fortress plays to allow you to play those Slays. And so
Slay also has a reaction, right? So
yeah,
that's nice. If you have 2 Slays in hand, you can play 1, put the horse in hand, and keep drawing. So yeah, certainly reaction's helpful too.
Yeah. So
but the thing is, captains are just so cheap here, right?
Yeah.
With transport.
It is possible that they they've been coasting off of Madman draw so far, so it might make sense that they didn't need the Slays so soon. If you're drawing your deck from Madman anyway.
Madmen are almost gone though. I guess there's 9, 10. So there's a total of 5 Madmen play left that you can have.
I don't understand how Captain is still at 8. So like we've been going hard for Hermits, which is typically good, but if you're playing Hermits most turns and converting them into Madmen, that's a lot of turns where you're transporting things. And if there's a card I want to transport here, it has to be Captain.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Captain is like really like when I say Captain is cheap, I mean the opportunity cost is very small compared to how it like normally the opportunity cost is pretty large, right? But here it's pretty small. So it's like this is like the cheapest Captain you'll find, or like one of them.
Like not a whole lot of transports have happened. By my count, 3 of them, and one of them. Wait, 2 of them. 2 of them have happened. One of them was for Captain. The other one was for T-Mog.
Kheldar does have a bunch of Madmen in reserve here, which is pretty nice.
That's a lot of Madmen.
I guess you don't really need to pop these Well, I don't know what the 6 cards are, but you could consider not popping those Madmen.
I mean, like not popping any or not popping all of them?
None of them. Like you already have, like you're not going to use the economy for anything, right?
I mean, you could play the Captain as Herbalist.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god, I completely forgot Herbalist exists. Why do I always forget Herbalist exists? You know what? Yeah, you're right. I was thinking I was just thinking you only had 1 buy. Like, stop now. But no, you have 2 buys.
Yeah, I like Steph's line of picking up 2 more captains. Actually, what about
Yeah,
the other one I was considering was you could play Captain as Hermit, trash, curse, gain Herbalist, draw it with your Fortress, and then do the same thing. But you've trashed a cursed and gained an Herbalist, which I think is an improvement.
I don't. That's like, I guess it's a minor improvement, right? But it does cost like an extra horse though, so I don't know if it's actually an improvement if you consider the.
There is one minor flaw that Steph has pointed out, which is there's no Hermits left in the pile, so you can't do that anymore.
You know, I trusted you. I trusted you to know the rules of the game.
See. I'm aware of the rules of the game. I'm less reliably aware of the state of the game. I had not looked at the Hermit pile in a bit.
I mean, to be fair, if there's a pile running here, it's going to be Hermits.
I mean, the slate pile is running. Maybe it's just like a slow trot.
I mean, I suppose we just pop the horses. Well, we have here 2 Hermits in play, or 2 Captains in play?
That would appear to be the case.
Does Kheldar have another Captain, or no? No, it's an exile. Okay, there it is. Okay.
They also provinced already. I mean, maybe that makes sense if your opponent. No, it doesn't make sense. I mean, your opponent's greening early, but your opponent's deck sucks. You're not in a rush.
Plus, provincing actively helps with road network, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't if you hold off on greening, like you're just not drawing your opponent cards, and then they're gonna have a hard time like continuing to green.
Yeah, greeting a bunch in one turn actually seems a lot more threatening. Because versus an opponent who doesn't have gains,
Mm.
drawing them a million cards doesn't really help them very much.
Um, yeah, but drawing in one card per turn probably does
Right,
because
exactly.
that makes more likely to province. But drawing in like 50 cards, like okay, they're just gonna province, great.
Yeah, exactly. Does El Hablador have any T-Mogs? I
Um,
don't think
I
so.
don't
Do they?
think.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
like they couldn't even like. I was worried
yeah,
maybe they could like transmogrify a silver into an herbalist and double or something if you drew them too many cards, but they can't even do that. They just have no additional gains except Soothsayer.
oh yeah, Madman for horses. Confusing to me. Certainly, you want to increase your hand size before you pop a Madman.
Yeah. Obviously, you play other draw cards before Madman because then Madman draws you even more cards.
All right, last card there's a horse, so leave that there. I mean, I guess you could
17.
double province here. I don't know. I guess it's fine.
I mean, the team's good enough to be winning. Um,
Yeah. Keldar is down to one final Madman though.
yeah.
I would just turn the Soothsayer into like a gold now, I guess, or maybe even a captain. Like, I don't think you need to play Soothsayer anymore.
Uh, yeah. Playing Soothsayer might actually not be helpful. I mean, the point probably doesn't matter.
Uh, the other option is well, like I don't want to draw a card for an extra card for El Hablador because I don't
Right.
think that's really doing a whole lot.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I guess like the downside of transmogrifying Soothsayer is mostly just like taking the transmogrify off the mat. Wait, actually, did they not have a win there? What was their starting hand? So they have a transmogrify on the mat, right? And they had a hand of Copper, Curse, Soothsayer, Captain Horse. I guess they didn't have a win that was very reliable, did they?
No,
Because like
no.
you didn't know what the horse was gonna draw, so they didn't want to take the risk.
I think there would have been a win if you just found a province. Because then you can just mill a province and then turns like Soothsayer to Bounty Hunter or something, and then that's
Yeah.
basically guaranteed, I think, 8. Or you can play Captains to Bounty Hunters also. So yeah, there were lines that win if you find a province, but alas.
Yeah, I don't think you need
Maybe
to.
Keldar has the province here, right? Like, you can't play around Keldar provincing, because Keldar can stall all day.
The answer is, I think, just El Hablador loses. Like your opponent has 2 transmogrifies down. I think it's pretty hard to conceive of what sort of hand they have that can't be transmogrified into a province somehow. But yeah,
It's,
I would
it's hard.
province. Your odds are low no matter what.
Yeah, very easily 8 hand right now. Um, well, you don't have to do duchies. They don't really do anything, right? Gain just gain economy.
Why? Wait, why are we
No,
getting duchies?
get money. Just get money in province.
I'm so confused.
Like, okay, this is still almost 8, but like there was a guaranteed 8 there. All right, now it's 8. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, no, I guess it was guaranteed regardless, right? Because you could always bounty hunt duchy and then bounty hunt fortress. Yeah, all right, sure. The duchies were free, I guess.
And who won game one?
I believe El Hablador did, or Hablador.
What was game one?
The talkative.
Oh, was this game one? Just no, it's fine.
You can't fortress there. Procession wasn't on the board.
Oh, Crossroads was game one was the Crossroads thing.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
fool's gold thing. The
Yeah.
crossroads.
Okay, so it's 1-1 now.
What is this best? It's 4 games, right?
Yes.
Just 4.
Yeah, they play 4 no matter what. In this case, Keldar needs to win both of these. Or actually, I think 2.5 should be enough for Keldar to take the match. But if it's 2-2, then El Hablador advances. But this is the final match of their division, so this will determine which of the two makes it.
I think shelters are a little sad here, aren't they?
Does it make a difference? I mean, you're just gonna kill him with church anyway, right?
I was thinking you do trader stuff for dominate. Oh no! Oh my god! I thought it was donate. I can't read. I read donate, not dominate. Okay,
I've
never
made that
mind.
mistake before. There are events that the word that starts with a D, it ends in 8,
I saw the Do and
and
the
it,
M. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah, it starts with D O and ends in 8. It's even more similar than I was suggesting. Now
Yeah. It was
I
like
would think this is probably just a stack of bakers. Is the most efficient way to get to 14 with no draw, and then
yeah.
like
I
a
think
legionary and a gold because the attack hurts.
we just open Baker, like break Baker Church, or do we open just like double Church?
That's a good question. Um, I think I'm going to say Baker Church with a low
I'm gonna
degree
say
of confidence.
double Church.
Okay.
Can you have Legionary Gold? Along the Sea of Silver. Wait, what? No, we don't want silver. I don't want any silver. Zero silvers.
Yeah. The silver thing was for the counterfactual kingdom that looked like this, except it had donate instead.
Um,
Um,
Silver Flood would be horrendous here. So,
silver is not
silver,
good at hitting 14.
no, no, it is not. I strongly dislike the Legionary Open.
I don't hate it. I mean, like if all you're doing for a while is buying bakers, then it seems fine.
I kind of just want double church actually.
I mean, double church also seems fine to me.
Like the ability to just get down relatively fast and then start adding bakers, and then, you know,
Lookout over church. That's a hot take.
well, so I don't think I prefer lookout to church on this board.
I'm not sure what the advantages of lookout. I
Oh,
mean, theoretically, the advantage of lookout is it trashes from the top of your deck instead of your hand, so it hurts your hand
yeah.
size less. But everything else points to church, I think.
It
Like,
also does things like this, right, where it triggers shuffles that are awkward.
yeah, like
The
there's
thing
just like
is,
one precise price point I want to hit a bunch, and church helps with
and
that.
that's the other thing to note is I think I'm not sure if you play with horse traders here or not, or if you're okay with just a single buy.
I'm gonna say single buy.
The downside of horse traders, of course, is it takes you your only terminal spot, which I guess you could do legionary attacks, but I'm not even. I don't know. Legionary attack just doesn't seem all that impressive to me on this board. Three really? Oh, that's awful.
That might make me get it more. The odds that I have 3 silvers on my deck are not that low, but having to go out of my way to like get a legionary and a gold for the attack is so
But you
expensive.
have to line up. You have to line it up with them, right?
It does make legionary a lot worse than money. Like legionary money is okay as far as money goes, and that
Sure.
legionary silver money would definitely be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the advantage of the non-double church line, I guess, is you can get colonnade points off of the second church if you delay buying it until the second shuffle. I don't know that that matters very much, but it's technically an
I
advantage.
20 points seem completely irrelevant to me, as they usually do.
I don't even
And
know.
also,
I banned that event, not event, landmark.
I just like ignore like my general rule is like in 90% of kingdoms, just ignore the landmarks until like the end of the game, and then you're usually fine.
At least the landmarks that are just like stacks of 2 VP each
Like those in
tend,
particular, just pretend they're not there, and
tend
then
to
at
be
the end of the
really
game,
relevant. There's a
but
few
even
you
like
can't ignore, like Wall or something. Like you try to play Counting House Traveling Fair, and then at the end of the game, you're like, oh shoot, Wall is here. I'm at negative 60.
okay, yeah, wall shuts down some strategies, but even so, sometimes wall you just ignore it for a bit. You still build your
Yeah.
engine, and then you just green earlier than expected. But things like then there's also things like keep, which sometimes you play with, but I think usually you just ignore it until later in the game. Sometimes I guess sometimes it makes you buy like silver over other like action silver equivalents or something, but eh.
Keep.
Palace, just ignore that one. Palace is trash.
I don't like Palace. I also have Palace banned. Keep, I think people have this misconception of as like promoting money, when I think it usually does the opposite. Like I feel like engines are much better at scoring the keep points most of the time.
Well, because engines can gain a bunch of treasures a little more easily sometimes. Yeah. Of course, engines typically trash coppers, so usually the money player just wins those 5 points. But like, okay, fine, give a bunch of copper to that. Congratulations.
I have noticed this tendency to hunt for colonnade points, like Steph is describing, where like you don't buy the best card for your deck, you just buy whichever action happens to be in play right now.
Yeah, that's why I said just ignore colonnade. It doesn't exist, and you're usually fine.
Admittedly, this is why I banned it way back when, and have not played with it since. I definitely had that tendency myself, and I know it's not good, and I know I'm going to do it. So it's better off just not to have it in the kingdom, and not have the temptation.
You just need to have some self-control. All right. You need to see colonnade and say no, not today, colonnade.
No, like one of those like problem gamblers where you have to go to the casino and be like, don't legally allow me to gamble anymore. It's like I do that with colonnade. It's just like I can't help myself. Don't allow this to be in the kingdom.
All right, that's fine. Sometimes you gotta know your limits, right?
Yeah.
I think we can trash a lookout here. Oh no. All right, fine. Hey, there's a gold. All right, we can get some legionary attacks in. I just like if I was getting colonnade points on this board, it would be off bakers, right?
It is weird that only one baker has been gained.
I'm not sure that they're considering how you dominate on this board. I think they're just really focused on getting the legionary attack in. But like I don't like legionary attack just doesn't do that much on this board.
They also seem really focused on trashing, but like not in an efficient way. Does having 2 churches and 2 lookouts in your deck really help? Like at some point you're just adding more junk, not trashing more junk.
Yeah, they're definitely getting a. Well, I think they got them for colonnade, right?
That's not a good reason.
No, I'm not saying it is a good reason. I'm saying that's why it's there.
That's like buying the temple from the temple pile when it's only got 2 VP on it.
Or buying like Curse from the Defiled Shrine that has like 5 or 6 VP on it.
I was just about to analogize it to passing your turn for baths, but at least baths doesn't put a junk card in your deck.
Yeah, it's more like what is it called? The Curse one. I just said it.
Defiled Shrine?
Defiled Shrine, that's the one.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain turned off for a second. It happens.
Yeah, it's like Defiled Shrine with 2 VP on it.
We'll be like Defiled Shrine with 3 VP on it, right?
Well, assuming you trash the curse later.
Well, if you're buying Defiled Shrine at 3 VP, you're probably not going to be trashing very efficiently.
All right, we got a legionary attack.
All right, the games begin.
What do you discard here?
Lookouts and copper, I guess.
And then you just set aside the gold?
Set aside the gold and some coppers and just like pass a turn maybe. Unless you draw the legionary there, then you can attack.
Oh, that's true. That I forget that you get to draw a card.
But yeah, I guess you set aside the gold here, right? I mean, you don't have to. You could set aside like just lookout and buy a baker. That'd probably be fine.
You could also play the trash lookout.
Yeah,
I like that as well.
I don't want second legionary. I want if you're gonna play with legionary on this board, it's single legionary, single gold, and a very clean deck.
Yeah, I agree. Like I want my deck composition to be 2 churches, 1 legionary, 1 gold, and a lot of bakers.
That seems perfectly reasonable to me.
And then buy dominate every 2 turns or so, because I'm probably not reliably hitting it every turn.
I guess you would need like 9 bakers to do it every turn, so probably not every turn. Every other turn is perfectly fine. And church is nice for just like tucking away those provinces to not bloat your deck any. And the thing is, I'm not 100% convinced that the legionary attack. Well, maybe it's fine. You're only dealing with 3 cards, so like those 3 cards would be. Well, you're still churching things though, so maybe it's fine.
There will be like a brief period of time where the legionary attack has no impact. Like if you got to that deck state of like just church, legionary, gold, baker, like at that point the legionary attack would hurt very minimally. But then before that and after that, it hurts because it hurts with your ability to like play your churches and set things aside. And like you'd like to be storing a green on churches, which could be difficult if you got a 3-card hand.
You're gonna have top cards, right? You're gonna have the gold legionary, a province, and a church.
Yeah.
So you can't draw all of those.
Right, like theoretically, if I get my deck running consistently, I want to be storing those provinces on the church for a while. But I feel like lining that up can be difficult with being under legionary attack.
Yeah, like something has to give if you're under legionary attack. Then, like you either can't attack or you can't set aside province.
This is awkward. Do you shell out 5 for a baker? I think not. Right?
I would just set aside both coppers and then not buy anything.
I'm confused why he played 1 copper.
Yeah, Kheldar set aside 1 copper with the church. I think just set aside everything and buy nothing seemed fine to me there.
It sure shouldn't be a poorhouse buy. Poorhouse is terminal, and legionary is terminal.
Yeah, you'll get 1 terminal in this deck. So choose wisely. And that terminal, beggar.
I mean, beggar gives you as much money as legionary does.
So the thing about Baker buy there is it takes 4 turns to pay up to like regain those coppers, which this game is going 4 turns. Yeah. But there's always a possibility that you just like need those coppers this turn, right? So I don't know. Maybe it was fine. No, I guess you don't need the coppers this turn. Okay, sure. It's also surprising me that it's turn 13. They still have this much junk in their decks.
Kheldar did have, I want to point out, 4 trashers. They opened with 4 trashers in the early game, and they still have junk in their deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think El Hablador had 3.
No, way too early for dominate. Just Baker.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be dominating every turn unless you have like a huge stockpile of coppers anyway. So like, don't spend the coppers right now for Baker, for dominate.
Or for Baker. I would not spend coffers for Baker here. I would just buy it.
I would spend like a coffer for Baker, maybe even 2 coffers for Baker. Like you expect that to pay off at some point.
But you already have 6 money.
I'm saying in the theoretical world. Right? Not the current world that exists. The current world is boring. I want to talk about fantasies.
All right. In a fantasy world where we had 3 or 4 money, then yes, I'd buy Baker as well. J Nails is watching DZ, and J Nails would be very upset if Kheldar bought a gold.
I mean, sometimes it's worth it just to upset J Nails. So yes.
The anti-style VP play.
We did it.
Kheldar, if you watch this, I just want you to know that you're dead to me. Some bridges are burned, can't be rebuilt.
Look, Kheldar's going to buy a crypt next game, and it's going to be all fine. Water under the bridge.
I'm not sure 1 crypt will do it. At this point, they might need to buy like 4 of them. Win the crypt split, empty the pile.
Does Kheldar have all the bakers?
No, there's 5 left in the pile.
Well, you got me there.
Let's see.
I can't. I got nothing. All right, fine. You win this round, J Nails.
El Hablador has just bought their first baker on turn 14. So yes, prior to that, of the bakers that had been gained, Kheldar had all of them.
I would take baker here. So, like, I guess with a big enough stockpile of coppers, you can just dominate every turn for a while.
Why do we have 4 legionaries? What are we doing?
I don't know. Their decks are still pretty junky, so there's that.
But yeah, because they keep adding junk. The legionary is the junk card.
Also the golds.
Yes, that too.
All right. I guess we can dominate here. 9 coins. It's a lot of money to waste on the baker if you're doing baker.
I'm not sure what a double legionary thing is here. They've trashed their necropolis. You can't play them both.
Also, why would you? What does that mean? Double legionary thing? Like, what do you? It's like the second Legionary is just like the terminal gold, right?
Yeah, like even abstracting away from the like we don't have villages problem. Best case scenario, Legionary is just a gold, which is not a very good card here.
Well, there's the rare situation where you do want to play like attack twice with Legionary, but almost always if you have multiple Legionaries, you only want to attack once.
Yeah.
The second attack is often more helpful than hurtful.
Yeah, maybe it's a secret strategy. It does remain quite elusive to me.
Oh, fine then, keep your secrets.
I will say Keldar seems very one. Having
Oh yes.
over a dominate worth of Baker tokens seems good.
Yeah, this game is completely over. Kheldar gets to just
What?
dominate times.
Yeah.
We got 14 coffers for dominate, though. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I would not have dominated that turn. You could, but I wouldn't. Oh yeah, that's why Keldar is so ahead. They won the colonnade split.
They are. Is
The one thing more significant than the gold split is the colonnade split.
I mean, is it any surprise? Let's take a correlation here, right? Wins the colonnade split.
Yeah.
Wins the Baker split. Wins the dominate split.
But El Hablador could go up on the legionary split here if they wanted to.
Huh? So the problem is, well, Hablador has like I don't know, like El Hablador could dominate again right now, right?
Yeah.
All right, maybe this is enough. Maybe just maybe Keldar doesn't find enough to stay in the game. I do think Hablador is gonna have a really hard time continuing to dominate though.
Yeah.
But like that point lead is kind of scary.
Yeah, so is Keldar, I want to click dominate every turn from here on out.
I guess. Yeah. There's a church in there which you could gladly trash. I think, but isn't that? Well,
Yeah, killing a legionary would be nice.
But they could also reveal 3 Bakers pretty easily. Hablador just provinces here, right?
And you're just giving up on dominating in the future?
I think so. I think Hablador just needs to end the game.
So let's say El Hablador provinces twice. They're at 52. And then if Keldar dominates twice, they're at 53.
Oh, I think that's right. Okay, never mind. That doesn't work then. Put a lookout first here, I guess.
Oh, that's a great lookout reveal. I would have trashed the legionary, but I mean, trashing church is fine too.
Actually, tossing 2 of these 3 cards is pretty nice too. So that helps next turn quite significantly.
I don't. Do you even play the Baker?
I guess you don't, right?
I think you just leave it on top.
You just leave it there. Like it's almost certainly gonna find a gold next turn.
I guess it doesn't matter too much seeding your next hand because it gets legionary attacked, and then you have like a completely jumbled hand anyway.
Anyway, it's a guaranteed dominate for Kheldar, right?
Yeah, you can discard down to 2 golds.
6 natives. Yeah, 6 natives already.
Yeah.
So just keep the gold legionary, I guess.
So as El Hablador, do you take Duchy? Because I think Duchy actually protects you against a next turn dominate from Keldar and the Duchy dance.
I mean, you can, but you're gonna lose that dance. Wait, Duchy wins? How does Duchy win?
How does Duchy just win? Is the idea that you're gonna dominate later on as El Hablador?
Like Keldar just falls with Duchy, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem trivial to me that Duchy is winning, but it does seem like it's likely the best play.
Yeah, like you just follow on Duchy right now. Play the church set on the side, attack with legionary by.
There is a severe concern here, though. I think this is actually starting to favor El Hablador because if they can dominate once, they win. And so if you Duchy dance and bank up coffers, then you potentially get there first.
Possibly.
I
colors have a hard time. They have like a hard time actually dominating. I guess if you just Dutch for long enough, it works though. Yeah, just take the Dutchy. I think Keller might have just waited a little bit too long to dominate.
A little too focused on Colonnade, I think. Their deck is Colonnade and Legionary and Gold. Like their deck is closer to what a good deck should look like, and it just took too long to get there.
Well, this is a win right here, so don't attack. Don't do it. Do it. Okay, good.
Yeah, well, that was a surprising result.
It was interesting.
It's one of those scenarios where like getting closer to the right deck didn't actually make Kheldar more likely to win.
Well, I think Hablador played at least given the deck composition at the end, Hablador probably played that pretty well, or did like the right things that I wanted.
Yeah, the last few turns El Hablador played well. The turns in which they chose which cards to buy to add to their deck were more questionable.
Yeah, and Keller did miss a lot of time, I think.
Yeah.
On weird stuff like extra legionary buys, extra gold buys. Like if you just play gold legionary and a bunch of fakers, like you're pretty won there.
Yeah, and the double lookout, double church.
It's surprising the colony split didn't actually matter. I know, especially on the board with dominate, like the extra 4-point split there didn't change anything.
Yeah.
That was game 3, right? So Hablador advances, right? That's
yeah, I believe this is a guaranteed advance for El Hablador. And
all right, well,
this final game doesn't actually matter, I don't think. Actually, it does matter a little teeny bit because it will determine El Hablador's seeding going into the elimination stage.
Okay, that makes sense.
So El Hablador is playing for a higher seed, and Kheldar is playing on the collective behalf of the other 15 people in the elimination bracket.
That is definitely 3 landmarks, or 3 heirlooms.
That is a lot of heirlooms, yeah.
Battlefield.
Yeah, we're hitting like all the landmarks that I have banned today. Battlefield's the other one.
Yeah, Battlefield, you mostly ignore Battlefield, but it does sometimes. Like Battlefield sometimes matters with like groom rushes or things like that.
Battlefield buffs rebuild annoyingly much.
It does buff rebuild a little bit too. But usually just ignore Battlefield is fine at the play. Look, where's Menagerie? We need it. Look at that hand.
Yeah. So what are we doing here?
I guess we're taking. I want to open remake maybe.
Remake seems pretty good.
We're not drawing with Shepherd, are we?
That's a good question. How are we drawing?
Maybe we are. It's the only non-governor draw. Now, usually on governor boards, I like non-governor draw. But at the same time, I don't think it's good enough to, on this particular board, to draw with Shepherd and like not trash estates.
I don't know. I'm profoundly uncertain about this.
I could be convinced either way, but my instinct tells me to trash estate right here, and I don't do Shepherds.
So maybe just like a relatively fast thing where you're not trying to build very much. You just have like a bandit, a few governors, and then green relatively early.
I mean that's kind of how you play governor anyway here, right? Like,
yeah.
There's also...
as opposed to trying to build like a bigger deck with shepherds for draw and doing a lot of stuff.
Oh no! People overbuild governor boards way too often.
Yeah.
Like you can even not considering battlefield, you can usually start greening, especially on boards like this where like the rest of the board is like kind of but has good trashing. Like you can start gaining and trashing golds very fast on these sorts of boards.
Yeah. That's more or less what I'd be intending to do here. Is like, I'm not looking for phenomenal deck control, just a bit of it and a few governors and take provinces probably starting like turn 7 or 8.
Yeah, get like maybe 3 to 4 governors max. Just gain golds aggressively, then gain provinces aggressively, and you're probably fine.
Yeah, I do like Bandit.
Yeah, I'll go Bandit seems better. Well,
Bandit can snipe the heirlooms for whatever that's worth. Actually, hitting Haunted Mirror might not be friendly, or might be friendly to your opponent. But the other two might be nice to trash.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Bandit is ever better. I guess it's. The problem with Bandit is it might trash their silver, which is probably helpful, and it doesn't give them silver like Governor Goldine does. So I'm not even sure Bandit is the Governor for Goldine.
Okay, I'm starting to be a little bit less warm on Bandit. The other thing that I realized is like normally I feel like Bandit is a pain in the butt with Shepherd because you kill their pastor and that's just like a ton of negative VP. But if we're trashing the estates here, then I guess that actually also doesn't matter.
I'm leaning towards like just get, let's say, 4 governors and then go provinces.
Okay, you've convinced me. No Bandit.
Just because silver is like definitely not a card you really want on this board. I mean, you can take a couple. Nah, like I mean, you can remodel silver to governor, which is okay, but for the most part, they're not doing a whole lot. Steph would play with a bandit.
Okay, well, so Steph is where I was like a minute ago. What's the is the benefit that you don't want them to have silver? That you do want to trash their heirlooms? It's like you don't want them to have silver. I guess hitting their golds is also a potential benefit of Bandit. I kind of forget that, but like Bandit can trash their golds, which is definitely
I'm just playing Governor mostly for like gold gain for a while. So they're probably like to have silvers. Wait, does Bandit let you choose or they choose?
You choose if you hit 2 treasures.
Each other player reveals.
Oh, they choose. They choose. I'm confusing with pirate ship.
Yeah. Pirate ship you choose. See, I don't know the rules of this game. Sorry, DC. Listen, rules are hard. All right.
See, with pirate ship you can choose. With bandit you can't. So pirate ship is clearly the stronger of the 2 cards. Yeah, like my concern, I think, I guess it's maybe not that much of a concern, but like I feel like Bandit's decently likely to just thin their heirlooms for them, and all 3 heirlooms would be pretty fine trashing here.
No, yeah, you don't. I mean, the goat's the best heirloom on this board by like a mile, right?
Yeah, hitting goat early would actually be a big benefit to Bandit. If you added the Bandit early and got that. Later on, trashing goat is friendly, and at any point in the game, I think trashing haunted mirror or pastor is friendly.
So, like this turn for El Hablador, you could remodel silver to governor, goat the mirror, and gain a ghost, right? Is that like, do you want the ghost? I guess you. It seems like it's an okay thing to do.
That line sounds pretty good to me.
Like you're getting a pixie play for it to gain the ghost, but I think getting a pixie play is not the worst trade-off for a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would take a ghost here. Most of the cards in your deck are going to be governors, and having spikier turns in the end game might be helpful if you're trying to like play around a certain number of provinces.
Doesn't El Hablador have a remake?
Someone has a remake.
I think El Hablador has a remake. Ghost in the remake would be a disaster, but anything else is fine. If you do take the ghost here, you should probably prioritize like trashing the remake as soon as possible. Is Kheldar the remake? Hold on. El Hablador opened remake.
But has Kheldar since acquired that remake?
Oh yeah, did he pass it with Masquerade?
Or an ambassador even.
Well, I found the remake. So actually, this is even better now because you can discard the remake instead of the pixie for the ghost.
Yeah. So they trashed their pixie. I think that's just going to rebuy pixie. Maybe you prefer dungeon or experiment.
Almost always when you get the plus, like the forced gift early with pixie, you just trash it because at the very worst, you're just rebuying pixie.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe experiment's better.
Um,
It's like at minimum, it's a guaranteed Seize gift, which is a pretty good boon, and at best, you could like governor the experiment into another governor or something.
true. I would also consider dungeon, but oh, what? Oh no,
This is an
no!
interesting order. I don't like that. Don't like that one bit.
You killed the goat.
So we've murdered our goat and passed up on a free ghost.
Man,
We don't like
I am.
cards to start with G here. It seems the governor can be the
Well,
only card with G in it in this deck. No ghost, no goat.
I'm not okay with that replay.
I guess we're giving up the ghost on that one.
Yes. Oh, Hablador just gave up the ghost.
Also, Keller is playing a Shepherds. I just noticed this. We'll see if that pans
Uh,
out.
I think it's not terrible. I think you can make do with it on this board. Like again, I was very or I was very unsure like if that was the play or not.
Yeah,
But like certainly
I don't think it's like
favors like
obviously wrong or anything.
yeah, I think it favors the early greening, which is fine on this board.
So yeah, sure enough, we took our first province turn 7.
I guess another governor is fine. One more governor is not a problem.
Getting to trash cemetery into governor is pretty nice. I guess they probably
Um,
could have done that anyway with their remake though.
yeah,
So maybe it's not that nice.
like if I'm Keldar, I'm probably just going to be more aggressive on gaining golds instead of drawing with governors, unless you have like a shepherd already in hand, and then drawing with governor, like that draw can get multiplied by having by getting more green cards per shepherd. But like a hand like this is probably just gaining gold, I think.
As El Hablador right now, I'm thinking about remaking 2 silvers into cemeteries to get 4 battlefield points, and the next turn those can become governor or duchy or inn or whatever. Bandit.
That's hot. You could actually do something like remake 2 silvers to cemeteries, governor silver to governor, and gain 2 golds, or like something like that, right?
Yeah, some combination of those thingies seems good. Or
I'm
maybe
also not.
how about gain 3 golds and buy a pixie?
Could also just gain 3 governors, but that might be too many governors. Like I don't want that many governors in this board. And I
Yeah.
think
I think my
the part
preferred
of
line right now is just gain 3 golds, buy pixie, remake 2 silvers into cemeteries.
that's fine. Yeah, I'm at the point of the game where I think the battlefield points are probably not irrelevant.
Yep. Also, I mean, like turning those into duchies is not bad either. Like they don't even need to become more governors if you don't want to.
Um, I mean, I would probably just prefer governor to duchy though.
And then something to be aware of, I think, is like it's easy to not get enough golds in these governor games where you're too focused on the draw and the action, and then you get to the end game and you've got like none of the cards you need to remodel. And so,
Yeah,
right around now is a good time to start adding golds.
that's what I'm saying. Like Hubler could have added like a couple golds there, and I think would have been pretty happy about it. 0 golds that turn seems like a problem. Oh, wait, hold on, never mind. There was a gold. All right, that's fine. Like there, I would have drawn Keldar.
Oh, that's a sad
I would
draw.
just and call it a turn.
Shepherd decks can be fickle. We see 4 of our green cards, none of our shepherds.
So this could be like gain gold, draw, and then do a bunch of trashing. I don't think you trash for Wisp here. Doesn't seem very.
No, you've got like no 2 costs in your deck. I mean, like you could do it in the principle of matter because like Wisp is such a great card.
This could
Beyond
be like
beyond that though,
this could be 3 remodels and 2 gold gains.
is it better to turn your remake into a gold than to just gain a gold at this point? I feel like it probably is, even if it lets your opponent trash.
Well, the advantage though with keeping the remake is you get to turn it into something on your opponent's governor remodels.
That's true.
Um, I'm actually fairly tempted to take like province of state right now, to be perfectly honest. That might be silly though.
That seems reasonable. I mean, the estate's like a 5 point swing there.
Yeah, it's like 5 point estate, right?
Yeah, I'd buy a state here. Because like you can be pretty sure your opponent's going to take green anyway on their turn. So not only are you not taking 2 victory
It's a
points, you're denying them 2 victory points if you do take it.
I'm gonna say it's a 6 point estate because it's a pasture, but you don't have a pasture, so never mind.
Or maybe it is a 6 point estate anyway because your opponent still has pasture.
Yeah, but
And you're denying
I don't
them
think
the pasture points.
the estates aren't gonna run, right?
That's a good point.
And if they do run, we're in a weird game if they run.
If I were Kheldar, I would be more likely to take Wisp. They still have a bunch of 2 cost cards in their deck.
That's true. Like I don't want to draw here, right? I just want to like take a province, take a gold. I think
Man, if I had a better idea of what was in Keldar's deck, I could comment on that more effectively. What do they even have in there?
it's a lot of green cards and like a governor. I think the governor's with something 7/3 maybe. Not. I don't like. See, like the problem there is playing Shepherd there first was really bad because like your last 5 cards here are just garbage. I think. So like if you're gonna play with Shepherd, you should draw with Governor first so you can discard more green cards.
Yeah, that was a weird order. Playing
Yeah,
Shepherd to draw and then drawing a Governor doesn't make sense.
yeah. So like, and you don't. Now those 5 cards are all dead cards, right?
And not only that, but the wait.
I just didn't want to trigger the shuffle. I just wanted to not trigger the shuffle, take a province, take a gold, call it a turn.
Yeah, if you're gonna trigger the shuffle, then you have this additional problem that playing the Shepherd first causes the estate to go back in the shuffle. So if you wanted to draw, maybe they just didn't know what the bottom 2 cards were. Maybe they just drew with Shepherd instinctively, then looked at the hand and like, okay, now I'm gonna draw. But it definitely feels like a suboptimal order.
You gotta track your deck. Like you have to know what's down there. Like if you're gonna play in the Grand Market Grand Prix, you gotta
Yeah.
be able to do some deck tracking.
Drawing El Hablador too many cards is definitely going to be a problem. Because
Yeah, for
then
sure.
they don't have to draw with their governors, and then now you're sad because they didn't draw you cards.
I wonder if you need in here. I think you need to buy in here as Kheldar because those next 5 cards are bad, like very bad. Oh, well, there's a governor. I still think in was probably fine though to put a Shepherd in there. Because like if there's a Shepherd in these 5 cards, I think you feel a lot better about this turn.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think the Duchy is actually doing that much. Maybe it's okay.
Okay, so El Hablador has the governor split.
I don't know you like. So these sorts of government endgames get weird. But I think you just gain like 3 golds right now, right? Or like, sorry, golds. I don't think Hablador can't win this turn, right? Maybe they can.
Know.
They have no golds, right? So if you're gonna get 3 provinces, you need to gain like a whole bunch of golds, which is a bit of an issue. Also, if you're gonna be trashing if like, you're gonna be drawing, like why would you trash before you? Like, yeah, like the order makes absolutely no sense.
That's a good question.
Oh, that Pixie Bloom could have won, right? With like better play order.
If you have, you're still only getting. I mean, gaining 2 provinces may be winning, but like I don't think you can get 3 provinces even with the Pixie
Maybe
Boom.
gain a bunch of golds here and call it a turn. I would probably. I'm not sure if you remodel the remake or not. I still think you might want to consider whether or not you need the Duchy points.
Yeah, the tricky part is top decking the remake.
That is. Yeah, I think just remodel it and then you're fine. Because I don't think Keldar can. The problem, well, I don't know. Here's the big issue: is that um, Hablador can't score duchies at all, right? So if Keldar takes like
Right.
2 provinces here, what do you do? All right, never mind. So this was. I'm going to say this was completely deserved
Shepherd
by
is
the
a
in.
fickle beast.
Not by the in, I think. Because
Yeah.
imagine the Shepherd in that hand right there. Ooh.
Yeah, I think on a good turn there, Keldar could have put themselves in a winning position. Take 2
Or kill the
provinces and
prop.
like, or a province and
Yeah, kill the prop is completely winning for Keldar there
yeah.
because El Hablador can't like take duchies at all. Like Hablador can only take provinces.
Yep. Now wins in hand.
I don't suppose 2 duchies is safe, right? Because Keldar has 2 duchies off this play, but I don't think that's enough points.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's not enough points. If Keldar had found a third, no, third duchy wouldn't have done anything. Never mind.
they found an animal fair.
They found Animal Fair. Yeah, that would have been good.
All right, well that's
All
the
right,
match.
El
3-1
Hablador
to
wins.
Hablador, who will advance to the elimination bracket.
All right.
That's the match. Thanks for commentating.
Congratulations and take care.